Today we're going to look at multimedia web pages, and we're going to begin first with some audio, and actually we'll begin just with a simple text editor and a web page with basic stuff like title, head, body, and all that kind of stuff. Nothing you haven't seen already, very standard. The title, I called it The Wisdom of CIS 170, but that doesn't mean you're taking CIS 170. I don't know what course you're taking. To put in an audio, it begins with an audio element, and it starts with the word audio, although I've got the word controls at the end there. We're going to put some stuff in between, and slash audio at the bottom. Now the first source I'm going to put in, I actually put in two sources, and again, if you read these, slash audio video slash 99%.oog, that's one of the sources. Same name with a .mp3 is another source. They're actually the same file, just in two different formats. And you notice that it says type equals audio slash OGG or type equals audio slash mp3. OGG is just an open source file format for audio and potentially video and such. But in this case, that's all it is. An mp3, you probably know those from iTunes and so on. Now, one of those will work. If it finds one that'll work, it will use it. If it doesn't find it, it'll go on to the next one and attempt that to load. So it'll use either source. And you can see here in Firefox the way it looks. And it's going to look a little bit different in Internet Explorer, but it's the same thing. It'll still work. It's only a 4-second clip. And all it says is 99% right is 100% wrong. And we'll get to that as we move on to the next element here, and that's going to be a YouTube video. If you've got a video and you put it up on YouTube, then all you want to really do is embed it into a website. So again, starting with a very simplistic website with just a little bit of head and body in there, and we put in an iframe. Now, we haven't talked about iframes. We will cover them more in depth later, but an iframe is an inline frame, and we haven't really discussed what a frame is. But a frame is a container that can contain another web page, and that's exactly what it does. In this case, we have a YouTube player as part of this frame. Class equals YouTube player, and width equals 640, height equals 480. I made that up myself. You can have your frame be whatever you want it to be. But inside that frame is the source, and that's where you say source equals, and it's got a youtube.com/embed/ and then whatever that funky code is that will be the unique identifier of that video. It's got that in there, and that will just display the YouTube video within a frame on your page, and that's exactly what you want it to do. Now lastly, we're going to take a look at a video file, and again, similar to the audio, except this time we've got a width of 320, height of 240. I've already put the video element in there in a standard page, and then I add the source, and this is going to be an MP4, and again, it's a // audio video, because again, we're in a folder called AV. We have to go up one folder into an audio video folder, where we then have the MP3s. In addition to an MP3, I also have a file that's called a poster. And what that is what will the picture look like? What will that video look like before you start it? Sort of like a cover screen to the picture. In this case, the video called Garganta.mp4 refers to a place called Garganta del Diablo, which happens to be at Iguazu Falls. You don't know where Iguazu Falls is, but that's not relevant to this discussion. But I do have a picture of Iguazu Falls, so when the video is ready to be shown but isn't actually being shown, the poster will show up. So that's in the images geography folder. We had that at a different lecture placed there, and that will be the poster that will show. Now, in addition to MP4, there's also WIM files, and it's the same exact file, just saved in a different format, because you don't always know which browsers are going to work. The WebM format is actually a Google format, and that does work, although I've put a comment in it here now just to not use that, because I'm just going to use the MP4 because I want to show you what happens when you find a web browser that maybe isn't properly set up with all the plugins. Here in Internet Explorer, we can see a sign that says invalid source. Poster works. That's the picture of Iguazu Falls, but we don't have a video file that will work. And in Firefox, something very similar. It kind of grays that out and shows that no video will be with the supported format here. So if I had opened this up in Google Chrome, it would actually work no problem. But those are some issues of how to get either audio or two different types of video, either a YouTube video or a video on your website to appear and enjoy.